Evening and welcome to the shed. I just thought I'd do a short video of what I'm doing today. So I'm working on an E36 328i 3 Series from about the mid-90s, and the complaint was playing the steering. So what I'd found with it was rust and damage to the hardening of the teeth in the rack. So that rack's beyond repair, or beyond economical repair anyway. What we need to do now is change it out to another steering rack. So I've got one here from an E46, and that particularly is the purple tag steering rack, and that's kind of cool because it's got 3 turns lock to lock, whereas the old one had 3.5 turns lock to lock. So pretty popular for E30 swaps and E36, I suppose. And I'll just go through a few similarities. So firstly is the mount point. So 2 bolt holes mount points, they're pretty much the same spacings, but the thickness here on the E36 between E36 and E46 is about 0.2 of a millimetre, so pretty much gets taken up when you do the bolts up on the subframe. Another similarity is the length of the rack itself. So the actual rack where the rack ends go into on both racks is about 575 millimetres long. Same with the actual pinion shaft. So if you measure from the centre of the rack to the end of the spline, they're both at about 190 millimetres long as well. Now, a couple of differences in the housings is if you look at the diameter of the E36, where the boot goes onto, that's about 52 millimetres, whereas the E46 is about 58 millimetres in diameter. So that's one difference to note. Now, another difference as well is if you look at the end of the rack on the E36, it's been turned down differently, it has a slot cut. The reason being is because there is a washer that goes between the rack end and the rack itself, and that lock washer has a tab that you fold down. Another difference to notice is the dust boot. So E46 dust boot goes up through the slot in the steering knuckle here. That will not fit into the E36 one. So what we'll do is we've taken off the E36 one and we'll change them over. Now, another critical difference that I think a lot of people are not aware about, and this could catch a few people out doing swaps, is the balance pipe or equalising tube. So the E46 does not have this, whereas the E36 does, and so does E30. So this little tube here equalises pressure between the boots on left and right sides, or right and left, whichever way. So without that tube, you'll find that the bellows the boots will either pop off, or they'll probably suck in, whichever way you turn the steering. So the way that they did this on the E46 was differently. There is no tube. It's been deleted. As with the lock washer, deleted as well. And if you look at the thread's the same. But without the tube, we need to equalise the pressure on both sides. But the way they've done it with the E46 is kind of clever. So what they've done is they have cut slots in the end of the rack end like that. And you'll see on the E46, if we go back to that one, I'll just move that washer out of the way. And you'll see there's no slot. And if you look at the rack again, on this side, you can probably just see daylight. If I move it over a bit, it's hollow. Possibly see daylight through it. Too dark down there. There we go. Daylight. So it's hollow. So what happens is, to equalise pressure, it actually goes through that slot that's been machined down through the rack, and that's how it equalises. Rather than a tube, it uses the rack itself. So what we've got, been supplied some rack ends. These are E36 ones, and someone's already machined them. So they've been modified to do that. So you can imagine if you were then to do, say, a swap into your E36, bolt that up home, quickly you'll find either the boot will pop off or the boot will get sucked right in. Okay, so there's a couple of differences there. Thanks for watching.